Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Lawing, and for my contemporary lesson plan, I have chosen to focus on the artist Jen Stark, and I am going to be teaching this lesson to first graders in Maryland. So for our lesson, we are going to be creating a nature-inspired repetitive painting inspired by Jen Stark, and here's some information on how I'm going to do that. Thanks. So here's some things I'm going to do for my lesson on Jen Stark with first grade. First, I have aligned this lesson plan with Maryland State Fine Arts Standards, where first graders will be experimenting with elements and principles of design. I also have this essential unit knowledge chart that my county uses and specifies that in first grade we should be using primary and secondary colors for painting, and we should be learning about pattern and repetition. So Jen Stark fits in perfectly. I plan to introduce this lesson by showing my students some specific works of art by Jen Stark and telling them how she draws her inspiration from nature. I also plan to build in enough time so that we can explore her website. As a contemporary artist, she has all of her work in one place, and it really shows students how she not only does paintings, but sculptures, murals, installations. She even has a great collection of animation. That'll be a great talking point for students to think about how to work outside the box as a contemporary artist. For the project, we're going to draw inspiration from nature. I have collected things from nature that my students would then create sketches of. They can create sketches of lines that they see or shapes until they come up with a shape that they like for their piece. For my example, I was inspired by a leaf shape. I drew it large, and then I repeated that line going to the edge of the paper. It mimics Jen Stark's repetitive nature, and it also follows that nature inspiration from the pieces we brought inside. Students will trace their drawings with crayons so that helps with their painting and neatness. This is first grade. And then they will have the option to create their pattern painting, any pattern they like. I chose to use a rainbow color wheel pattern on mine. Students would not be forced to use that. It's up to them. Here is my completed piece that I will then use a basic rubric to go over the requirements of the project when I'm grading student work. We will also have a little critique at the end of the project as a class. So at the end of the lesson, students will have this beautiful, repetitive pattern, nature-inspired painting inspired by Jen Stark, and we'll take some time to kind of have a class critique and share our artwork. And this is when I'm going to pose the question to my students to think hypothetically like a contemporary artist like Jen Stark. If you could create this work of art outside the box, not just a painting, how would you do it and share it with the world? Would you use social media? Would you use a billboard to present your artwork, sculptures, installations, all of those different ways that Jen Stark gets her artwork out into the world? And we would share those ideas as a class to kind of take the artwork beyond the painting, outside the box, like those contemporary artists that we're studying. Thanks, guys.